Hey guys, what's up? Brian Savage here with you, and today got a real quick running down just a restring and setup on a sub series Sterling by Musicman. I believe this is in the Musicman line called their Cutlass model. It is a HSS configuration. This is the lead guitar player of the band. The lead guitar player of the band, Kickstart. Yeah, but his guitar, and it's got 11s on it. He liked the play of 11s, but man, when you play for 4 hours straight, and that's what he's decided to do with this guitar, is make this his #1 playing live. We're going to do a big string change, and we're going to go down to 9s. We're going to the Willie G's. So even at a 9, my personal feeling, and his as well, is these are still a little slinkier than Ernie Ball 9s, although they are the same diameters. Anyway, but considering it's set up with 11s and we're going all the way down to 9s, we're going to have to do some truss rod adjustment probably, and things of that nature. Maybe some intonation change, some string height change, because that's a difference in diameter. The nut looks cut pretty good, and it's a really low action on the nut, so won't have any problems there. So without further ado, let's get these off of here. And I thought I laid all my tools out. Oh, there it is. He keeps the trim not blocked off, but the screw's tight, and doesn't use the trim arm in this guitar at all, so we don't have to worry about floating that trim or any of that kind of stuff. So if that's what you were looking at this video for, I apologize. Maybe you'll get it on the next one. Maybe one of these days I'll do a Floyd Rose for you. Then again, I don't like to cuss on my channel, so maybe I won't do a Floyd Rose. Uh-oh. Obi hears the strings. He's about to get in trouble. He hears it. Well, I know what tool I forgot, but that's all right. I won't need it till later. Come on. And we're off. Well, them came out nice and easy. Didn't have to fight that like I do with the fenders, or for that matter, my PRS trim. Seems like there's always a couple balls that get locked. I'm going to throw these in the kitchen floor for a minute. Hang on. Come on, Obi. I know you're about to go spastic before you knock something over. Go get him. Go get him. Obi and his love of. Again, I didn't think there was any fret munch, but I didn't see any. Let's wipe the dust off from between the strings. Now we'll just real quick get these on here. We also play half step down, so as I tune this up, I need to be aware of that and pay attention that I'm setting this guitar up for these gauge of strings tuned half step down. What I like to do is just lay it over the edge of the table, run all 6 through it. On this particular brand of Dunlop strings, the way they do theirs to keep you from winding yourself crazy is you do the ball end, hold it, then do the small end, and let go of the string. And that's how it's wound up over each other. That's different with different brands. It's a good rule of thumb. Ball end, loose end. No come undone. Ah, get in there, you. That's a great feeling G. What gauge is that thing? 16. And this is an 11, so it's just like a set of pink slinkies. Ooh, that one's double wrapped. I can see why these don't, why this trim block is not like the Fender and PRS. The holes, as I look down in this trim block, it's a big hole for the ball to go through, and then it narrows down, chokes down with a shoulder, not a taper. So I think that's one of the reasons. This must be a set of strings that was packed on Friday, because they didn't do it the way they normally do on these. Alright. That's a baby. For a 9, that just feels so slick. And I don't know, maybe that's what it is between these, and I'm not a huge Dunlop fan and other strings, but these Willie G's, I don't know what it is they do about them, how they mandrel them. But the string itself, I find, is much smoother. On your unwrapped strings, I think it's a whole lot smoother than when it is an Ernie ball, and I don't, or just a standard Dunlop string for that matter. That's why I'm not a fan of coated strings. Is I feel it. I feel the coating, and it feels like it's grit on the string. I feel like the string's always dirty. There's a million ways to do this whole wrap idea. This is just the way I personally do it. Do it to your own flavor. That's what I'm going to tell you. Don't whistle copyrighted music on YouTube, or they will get mad at you. While I'm talking here, doing this, say something. On these winders, some people say that it's bad for tuners to use winders on them. I don't believe in that. And as far as the ones that go on drills, I believe that the ones that go on drills, you have the potential of maybe damaging your tuners by turning your drill up to putting it on an impact drill and going to town on it like it's an industrial bolt. Yeah, you might do something, but other than that, I mean, I can't see it damaging the tuner. These things, you know, I've had guitars since the 80s that had cheap tuners on it that still work. The ratio may not be the greatest, or stability, you got to keep tightening them down and things, but they still work. So I don't know how many times these things will turn before they wear out, but it's a lot. And this does make it a lot easier. If you have one of these, I have one that's black that I use as my bass one. And I think you can buy these as a bass one, but top tip for you, if you have the Fender elephant ears or big bass tuners, how you got your notch, and I think that's in focus here. That's for pulling pins. All I do is cut a slot in the back and cut a little more of this out here, and that way the elephant ear fits inside that. Top tip for you. Trying to be expeditious about just a quick string change and setup here. I know a lot of things, and this is one of the reasons this is so down and dirty is there's a lot of things I know about this guitar. Like, for instance, I know there's no high frets. I know there's not a problem with fret buzz, or there wasn't. There's no fret munch. As far as pickup heights, string height, I mean, I may have to adjust that minutely because it just changed the gauge of strings. But the guitar is, to me, a known guitar. So as far as electronics, performance, any of that kind of stuff, I don't have to worry or mess with any of that stuff. It's just... that might have to get a little raised to it for sure. I always leave these little string ends on here until I'm done, just in case. That gives me at least somewhat of a chance of maybe if I have to take a string off to do something, that maybe there's a chance I'll get it to reuse it. If you cut them off, it's pretty much, forget about it. And that was the one tool that I forgot to set in here, was the clippers anyway, so... Alright, get this stuff where it's going to get up all in my face here. Oh, excuse me, I need to take another sip. Tastes better with that on it. Just use a little snarky snark. Remember, we're going for E flat. D sharp, E flat, whatever you want to say. Oh, turn the right one. So used to a 3x3, y'all didn't catch that, right? Didn't see a thing. These are a pretty high ratio tuner. These are not the tuners that came on the guitar. I don't know what these come with, to be honest with you. Those feel really good, so whoever put them on there, it was definitely an upgrade. They're not a real high ratio though, because a little bit of movement goes a long way. But boy, they're smooth. And there's no play in them. They're unbranded, so who knows? And G string's got some kind of weird harmonic going on. Listen to this. I don't know what that is. You probably won't be able to hear that on that for sure. Alright, let's do some neck relief. Let's look for the capo. There we go. Same thing on everything. Neck relief first. So even no matter where the truss rod is, capo at the first fret. With it tuned to pitch, now I don't have to be perfectly tuned to pitch, and we're going to hold at the body joint. Now, that's why some people say 15th, some people say 17th, this or that. I say it doesn't matter. It's at the body joint because that's where the neck's going to stop moving because it's bolted to the body there. So, truss rod isn't doing much from here to here, even with it being down here. I've never seen it. And then at the 7th fret, we're looking for 12 thousandths. And boy, that is just nice. It just does slide in there. That's why they call it feeler gauge. You're looking for the feel. I feel it touch the bottom of the fret before to the string, and then when I get to the string, I just feel it barely rub the top of it. Man, that's right on. I'm not even going to bother messing with that. Since it's a single truss rod, not like a Rickenbacker with 2 truss rods, whatever it is on this side, it's going to be on this side unless the neck's severely twisted. And like I said, if that was the case, this thing would have been buzzing, and he'd brought it to me with complaints of high frets or something else was going on. So we don't have any of that. So now we're going to move on to string height. He likes a little bit of height. He plays a lot of slides, stuff like that. So I don't put him down at the 1 millimeter. I like to give him about 150 or 1.5 millimeters, and that's about a, what would that be? Let's just see here. A 0.07 is what that would be. And we're right at a 1.5 millimeter on that. Right under 1.5. 125. 125. 1. 1. 1. As long as that's not going to buzz, let's see. Yeah, that G string is what I thought needs to come up ever so slightly. So, this is made in Indonesia, so unless someone has put a lot of expensive parts in a less expensive guitar, we're going to know this is going to be a metric wrench. And it is. You want this saddle to be parallel with the plate. Don't tip them one way or the other. Both screws should be the exact same height. Needs just a littlest amount, but I expected that. I'm surprised at how well it came out with changing the string diameter, going up so much. But the G string, it's always the G string. You got in trouble because of the G string. Married a stripper because of the G string. Oh, whoops. Shouldn't have said that. There we go. Now let's see what we got. Buzz is gone. All right. Now, the long process of intonation. Now, intonating with a snark is not exactly pissing in the wind, but let's just say it's not going to be perfect, but there's no such thing as perfect intonation anyway. I guess you can get pretty close with multi-scale and the true temper fret system and all that jazz, but we are just a tad sharp. Sharp. String too short. Need to move saddle back. Make string longer. Make sense? my handy dandy PRS tool. Now, if you're going forward, in other words, you're going to be loosening this string off under string tension, that's kind of all right. But I like to kind of back string tension off if I'm going to be moving that saddle back. Just because. Let's move her back. Tune it back up. Not enough. Sorry, I think my camera conked out on me there for a second. I'm not sure why. But we were in the middle of intonation. Perfect. On to the next string. Perfect. How many do I win in the lottery? Ooh, little flat. Need to make this distance shorter. Move saddle that way. You can do this under string tension as you're loosening things off. Little more. Please, sir, can I have some more? There we go. Good. Quit all that. That needs to come forward a little too. Again, we're flat, so we need to sharpen it by shortening the distance, so we have to move the saddle forward, which means loosening off this screw. Now also, here's the thing too, when you do loosen off these screws, when you're tightening it, it's definitely going to drag that saddle back. But there's a lot of downward pressure, especially in the wrap strings, so when you loosen one off, make sure you go in here and push it forward. Make sure that you've got it all the way against. That spring tension does some, but sometimes it does not counteract the tension of the downward pressure. Shazam! There we go. This truss rod may do something different now that it's got less tension on it, but you know, these Ernie balls, even the Sub series, the Sterling models, all those kind of things, they're pretty, the truss rods in them are nice. They're all two ways. They're built nice. This is looks like a well-cut one-piece maple neck, maple fretboard, you know, 5 bolts on the neck, built like a tank. So, it doesn't surprise me that it kept its shape. Till next time, guys, show the music, share the love. Peace out.